101 Broadcast TV Network, your new home of power. Power to achieve, power to inform, and power to motivate. Let's go!
Sa M101
Ika'y makigulo,
M101
ika'y makisaya.
Halina sa TV network mo na pangmasa M101
Tanggalan yung lungkot,
M101
tanggalan yung lumbay.
Sumama sa M101 Broadcast TV Network.
Halika na, manood, makinig at bumilib. M101 ang bukang bibig, saan man sulok na mundo ay maaasahan nyo ang TV network na paborito. Atin ang samahan mga power DJs at coaches na sigurado kayo'y maa-amaze, matatanggal ang lungkot, pati ang lumbay. Kapag M101 broadcast ang karamay, para na rin sa OFW natin mga kababayan, matanggal ang homesick, lungkot ay malimutan. Kaya wag ka na malumbay kaibigan, halika na sa M101 at maglibang broadcasting TV network na paborito. Matutupad din ang mapanood sa TV na pangarap mo. Sa M101 broadcast, kayo ang bida. Manood at makinig, halika na, tumutok na.
Sa M101
Ika'y makigulo,
M101
ika'y makisaya.
Halina sa TV network mo na pangmasa M101
Tanggalan yung lungkot,
M101
tanggalan yung lumbay.
Sumama sa M101 Broadcast TV Network.
Namimiss mo ba kapamilya mo? Pwede mo silang mapanood dito. Para na rin kayakap mo at kapiling, at magbibigay ng katuparan sa inyong hiling. Hanggang tumulong sa mga kababayan may malasakit pa, sa kaagapay, kabalitaktakan at kalinga. Yan ang M101 Broadcast, hindi lang pang TV, may palad pang nakabukas. Pwede mo rin ilahad ang story na buhay mo, pagbibigyan anumang request mo. Nagbibigay din ng mga informasyon, mga balita, showbiz na bago ngayon. Ang M101 pang international, meron ding ilang contest na may premyong swak sa lahat. Makipagkantahan, makipagtawanan, dito lang yan sa M101
Sa
Broadcast.
M101
Ika'y makigulo,
M101
ika'y makisaya.
Halina sa TV network mo na pangmasa M101
Tanggalan yung lungkot,
M101
tanggalan yung lumbay.
Sumama sa M101 Broadcast TV Network. Anumang problema, anumang suliranin, ito'y magtutuldukan kapag kasama mo ang M101.
Nagbibigay
saya,
Nagbibigay saya,
ituring mong pamilya. Sa M101 Broadcast ay hindi ka na
sa
iba.
M101, patuloy ang buhay, ikot ang iyong mundo at lalagyan ng kulay. Pwede mong sandalan, tunay mong kaibigan, M101 iyong maiibigan. Handa kang alalayan sa iyong mga pangarap, basta tumutok lang at huwag kang kukurap. Dahil sa M101 Broadcast ay maraming ganap na sorpresa na
Sa
matatanggap.
M101
Ika'y makigulo,
M101
ika'y makisaya.
Halina sa TV network mo na pangmasa M101
Tanggalan yung lungkot,
M101
tanggalan yung lumbay.
Sumama sa M101 Broadcast TV Network. M101
Ika'y makigulo,
M101
ika'y makisaya.
Halina sa TV network mo na pangmasa M101
Tanggalan yung lungkot,
M101
M101 Broadcast!
Broadcast TV Network.
Good morning! This is AIM 101 Broadcast, the new home of power, the power to achieve, the power to inform, and the power to motivate. Today, we're going to feature this guide for a better health for the first half and travelogue for the next program. And for information, last week we traveled to India and we have a great journey, and her spectacular beauty had given us the chance to reconcile with the vast and magnificent landscape, mountains, rivers, and of course beaches and pilgrimages from all aspects of faith. And obviously, India embraces different religion and unity of various different dialects, people, and her cuisine. We fell in love with India. This is DJ Fred, a friend you can hang on. And today we're going to feature a special day, again to consult one of our clinical instructor, one of the clinician nurse who are willing to give an online presentation and at the same time consultation. And you can ask question. Halfway around, we're going to travel to the North and South Korea, and additionally, we're going to visit Baguio City, the summer capital of the Philippines. And you are watching AIM 101 broadcast. Like and share to your loved ones and friends so we could spread a guide for a better health featuring our nurse specialists in-house. Plus, a free travel to Korea, and our local destination is Baguio City. This is brought to you by AIM Global Kuwait branch, located in first floor Salhia Tower, Fahad Salim Street, Kuwait, with telephone number 6581897, and also Lapu-Lapu Lapu-Lapu Restaurant at Home Ka Dito, and they are open from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. with FB Instagram Lapu-Lapu KW, and you can contact 506-12921, located in Hawali, Tunis Street, Alfajar Center, mezzanine beside Alfajar. And would like to acknowledge Sir Khalid, Papshi, and Kuya Dodong. Sa Mediacom, ikaw ang sikat, and they are open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. They have 15 shops around the city, and would like to say hi to Sir Shankar and Madam Emma with their FB number, with their FB Mediacom Karaoke Kuwait, and you can call them at 65701701. We also have Dampad Middle East, the original house of seafood, and Boodle Fight, located in mezzanine floor of Panasonic Tower, Malia, Kuwait. Saying hi to Sir Prem, Sir Rana, Sir Chitra, and Sir Lakshmi. And also have A1 American Burger, an ideal food concept. They are open from 12 noon till 2 a.m. with FB A1 American Burger and Instagram A1 American Burger KW. You can call them at 66561018, located in the first floor of Magatir Mall in Farwania, and saying hi to Sir Abid, Miss Diana, Miss Rinoka, and the chef. Yes. And here we go. Doctors, they treat and they cure. But nurses does the direct treatment as ordered and cares for the patient. Our guest today is not just a nurse like me. She is one of the busiest female nurses in Kuwait. Married and blessed with handsome and beautiful kids like her. Not like me. She's one of the clinical instructors in Kuwait. And as we know, she is a registered nurse from Zamboanga City, Philippines, a neurosurgery unit nurse in Dawam Central Hospital in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia from 1995 to 1999, and a staff nurse of neurosurgery department in Ibn Sina Hospital, Kuwait from year 2000 to 2005. And she's also a staff development unit clinical instructor under Neuro Intensive Care Unit in Ibn Sina Hospital from 2006 to the present. I would like to welcome now Miss Sitna Muhammad Hasim. Welcome.
Thank you, Fred.
Yes. So,
Thank
by
you.
the way,
A pleasant day to you. Let's
yes,
say good morning to
yes.
you.
Good morning.
Thank you for inviting me here for the first time.
Yes.
Kinda nervous.
Actually, Miss Sitna is one of my closest friend,
Yeah,
one of
that's
my
right.
closest friends here in Kuwait, and this is an opportunity for us to understand and learn something about nursing.
It's my pleasure to share.
Yes. So let's start. Why nursing?
Actually, honestly,
Yes.
it's not my choice.
Wow.
Nursing is not really my first choice. It was my sister who is a nurse who
Okay.
persuaded me, and pushed me to become a nurse like her. I initially, after graduation, I initially went for college in Western Mindanao State University, taking up initially
Yes.
what they wanted first to go for engineering, which I really
Yes.
hated mathematics. So I did not succeed. It's just the first year I shifted to mass communication because just
Wow.
like you, I wanted to talk.
Wow.
Maybe not on TV, but I love talking a lot. You know me. I'm your friend, so you
Yes.
know I love talking a lot. So anyway, while I took up mass communication, majoring in broadcasting.
Yes.
This for a year, and my sister, fortunately, after graduation, after the board exam, she was hired to Saudi Arabia and started earning. So she called me up and told me that I will not support you if you will go on with what you want. So I said, okay, I will demand if ever you have to send me to Manila, not in the university
Yes.
where I was studying. So to make it short, my journey started. She sent me to Manila, and I finished nursing in a very small college somewhere in Gagalangin.
Yes.
It's Saint Rita College, but I'm so proud of my alma mater.
Yes.
It is the institution that made me who I am right now, and she's right. Like initially when she told me that the moment you will graduate nursing, it's in demand abroad. You will be earning a lot of dollars. So everyone is really looking forward to have that. So she's right. As soon as I graduated, year 1994, I took up the board exam. As soon as I passed the board exam, without any experience, I was hired to Saudi Arabia. So I started working without experience in
Wow.
Saudi Arabia. So I was there for four long years.
And you've learned so many things.
And I was I learned, I came to know and I realized that nursing is a really noble profession. It's not just about money, it's not just about earning dollars, but it's about how you could help people and impart your care, your TLC, and the knowledge that you have learned about nursing, about the sickness, about the wellness, everything that is really something that no one aside from our profession, aside from being a nurse, knows about it.
Yes. So
Yeah.
speaking of TLC, nurses have this tender loving care. But be
Yes.
careful, we also have this tiger lion care for sometimes. But I don't
Tiger.
apply that.
No, it's not required. The more our
Yes.
patient will be sick, we should not be.
And yeah, before the interview,
Okay.
can you greet your family?
Okay.
Um,
As Fred
Yes.
mentioned that I am a nurse. Okay. Once again, my name is Sitna Muhammad Hasim. I'm originally from Basilan. I'm an Abusayaw. Okay, I'm originally from Basilan, but I studied elementary in Basilan, high school in Pagadian City, and Zamboanga del Sur, and then currently residing in Zamboanga City. So I am married with 3 kids. I have a girl who is 16 years old and 2 boys, 13 and 10. They were all born here. I came year 2000 when I was still single
Yes.
and got married and built a family. So they were here for like 12 years till my daughter turns 12. And now they're back to the country, to our country, happily studying, and they like it there. They don't miss
Yes.
Kuwait at all.
They don't miss Kuwait now.
Yeah. So I finished nursing year 1994,
Yes.
and it's kind of long time now.
So,
We've been working abroad as an OFW for quite some time now.
So I graduated in 1993 and you graduated in 1994.
Oh,
So-
okay, so just 1 year apart. And you started working same year?
Yes.
I started 95.
Yes.
95.
And by the way, why you have chosen to go to Kuwait?
Actually, I don't know about Kuwait at all. I have no idea. When I resigned from Saudi, same year I came here. It was not same year. I applied the same year, 1999. I resigned, end of 1999. And somebody who resigned from Kuwait he happened to be the cousin of my husband, I guess. He came to our house and he said, hey, your he was my fiance or boyfriend, something like that. Okay, or the girl that you're courting is a nurse. He was asking. I said, yeah, she's a nurse. And he said, why don't you ask her to apply to Kuwait? They offer a very attractive salary when compared to Saudi Arabia. I was not planning to come back. I opened a very good supermarket, like not a bakala, bigger than bakala, and I was really planning to stay back. Then he gave me the newspaper, and I saw the address. I saw the advertisement of Ministry of Health, and I told my mother, why don't we go and try? ATCI was the agency that at that time was hiring nurses to Kuwait. So we went there. They gave me a paper slip for the exam. I went the next day to write the exam. I fortunately passed the exam and the interview, and I'm hired. It was like 30 days after they sent the visa. So I'm here. And from then on, I'm still here.
Yes, still here.
Yeah.
And still serving
here.
Kuwait till this
Yes.
time.
Alhamdulillah.
So, what can you say about the health issues in Kuwait?
It's especially in my area, especially in neurosurgery. By the way, I'm working in a Benzina hospital. It's a specialized center for neurosurgery, pediatric surgery, the only center for pediatric surgery in the whole MOH. So anywhere children that needs surgical intervention will come to our hospital, will be referred to our hospital. And ophthalmic surgery, ophthalmology center, burns and plastic surgery, as well as organ transplant, kidney transplant.
Wow.
So one of the specialities is the neurosurgery where I am assigned. So in neurosurgery, it is so alarming, the cases that we are receiving from all over Kuwait referred to us with the case of aneurysmal subarachnoid hemorrhage. It's a very, very fatal disease condition, and most especially to Filipinos.
Yes.
It is so surprising, or it's really, really alarming that just for last year, 2018 January till July of this year, till last month, we have 24 cases, and 18 of them are females and 4 males, Filipino, with an SAH, with an aneurysmal SAH.
Yes. So we're talking about the subarachnoid hemorrhage.
Yes, SAH is subarachnoid hemorrhage.
Yeah, which
Because
is
it's
your
too long, so I just wanted to shorten it. But for everybody's awareness, it's SAH.
So you are watching AIM 101 broadcast, and Miss Sitna she wants to share this for everyone, not only for the Filipinos, but this is for the entire audience who is watching us all over the world, not only in Kuwait. It's also the Philippines and all over, like we
Hi
have.
there.
Yes. Okay, so maybe you can start talking about this
Okay.
matter. I'll give you the stage.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you for giving this opportunity to share with you this very interesting case that is really this awareness that I'm going to talk to you about SAH is could really be helpful to all those who do not understand what really this disease is all about, this condition is all about. I have selected this topic because, by the way, as you all know, I'm not a doctor, so I will be just like based on my understanding and based on how the management is being done in our institution and how much we save patients comes to us in this condition. So let us define what a subarachnoid hemorrhage is. It's actually a bleeding into the subarachnoid space surrounding the brain. So subarachnoid space is surrounding the brain. In the subarachnoid space, there are CSF that flows, the fluid in the brain that provides the buoyancy to the brain, that provides nutrients to the brain, that provides that washes away the unwanted metabolites in the brain. Okay, and this is also the place where the CSF is being absorbed. By the way, it is produced in the ventricle, by the choroid plexus. It goes to our spinal cord, back to our brain in the subarachnoid space where it is being reabsorbed by the subarachnoid villi. So if there's any insult that goes to that, it causes damage. You know, when the blood is poured into the brain, into the subarachnoid space, it irritates the brain. It increases the ICP, and blood clots plugs the holes that prevents CSF to be reabsorbed. So it causes hydrocephalus, that is a collection of the CSF in the brain. So it causes a lot of damage to the brain. Okay,
Wow.
yeah, that's what a subarachnoid bleeding could do when it is into the subarachnoid space. Okay, so it can occur spontaneously from an aneurysm, which I'm going to tell you what an aneurysm is, and or from a head trauma. So as you can see, the mortality rate is very high. This statistics, I have taken it from the Mayfield Clinic. It's in 2015. I tried to search yesterday the latest, but so far it comes in a very, very small difference in the percentage. So the mortality from SAH are very high, like 10% dies before the patient reaches to the hospital even. It's really dangerous. And 25% within the 24 hours, and even higher to 45%, even now up to 50% within a month, within 30 days. So this mortality is really, really high. Imagine if, like, you think about that 24 kababayan of ours
Yes.
having this, and we don't know what could happen to them the next moment if they were not taken to the hospital. It's truly dangerous. So what I wanted to impart to you is the signs and symptoms. It can come unnoticeable. Okay, so the first thing that when a patient had subarachnoid hemorrhage, they will complain the worst headache of their life. Okay, the worst headache of your life. They term it as thunderclap headache, unexplainable headache. So if any of us experience such a worst headache of your life, you have to think and you have to have it investigated. Don't just ignore it. Just recently, Fred, I wanted to mention to you our colleague. She's a staff in Ebencina in organ transplant. She went 2 times to the clinic because of severe headache, and he was given a pain medication, a paracetamol. She took it, went back home. Then finally, she complained of neck pain, which is the knuckle rigidity. That is one of the signs and symptoms, which is stiff neck. And she deteriorated. Her GCS went down, the Glasgow Coma Scale. Patient started to be drowsy. And unfortunately, that time, when the neurosurgeon was called to see her, she already had brain edema. You know, and there is blood in the subarachnoid space. These all things can just increase the ICP, the brain could swell, all these things can happen. So she was intubated there in Farwania Hospital. She was rushed to Farwania Hospital. Doctor went there, and because of brain edema, he managed to insert the external ventricular drain before she was shifted to us, because it was not safe for her to be shifted to Ebencina at that time. She may cone and we may lost her. To make it short, she was taken to us, and then unfortunately again, the aneurysm which was found during the angiogram was a wide neck aneurysm that cannot be coiled. Later on, I'll discuss what coiling is all about. It cannot be coiled. It's a wide neck aneurysm because if you coil it, the coil may slip just out to the vessel. So what they did a clipping, and it was a difficult clipping according to the surgeon. We have an endovascular surgeon who is really good from Siberia, somewhere in those countries. Okay, his name is Dr. Dragon. Okay, so he did the clipping successfully, but she was intubated for a long time, like she passed the stage of vasospasm, which is one of the complications of aneurysmal SAH. So anyway, Thursday she was extubated.
Wow.
And Sunday I saw her because she's my friend. She knows me very well. So when I went here at the bedside, I said, Aji. I called her and she looked at me and she closed her eyes and cried. It was the best thing to see when you think that this friend and a patient was in deep coma with a tube, with the ventilator and all, and suddenly you see her opens her eyes and smile and cry. So it was a very good feeling, you know. So I was really just hoping that every single Filipino in Kuwait can see this and will understand what exactly SAH and aneurysm is all about. So aside from headache, aside from the worst headache of your life, the patient can also experience sensitivity to light or photophobia, okay? And they also experience nausea and vomiting. That could be one, a blurred vision or double vision, and a decrease of the level of consciousness. So the patient may not be as alert as the usual. They will decrease the level of consciousness. They may not be arousable sometimes, or they may lose their consciousness even. Okay, so stiff neck, and even they go into seizure. Okay, so what could be the causes of this condition? According to the research and the books and all, 75 to 80% are intracranial aneurysms, which I selected because it's most of the time the cause. Whenever a patient comes to us, a cerebral angiogram is done and find out positive to aneurysm. Okay, so that's 75 to 80% intracranial aneurysm. 15% non-aneurysmal. The angio is negative, could be related to trauma or some other factors. And then 5% other causes like AVM, arteriovenous malformation, and cocaine abuse. Maybe it may not be hair or mycotic, might be an infection or something. And some predisposing factors that can be, some are modifiable and some are non-modifiable. So those that are modifiable, which we can still help to give awareness for them to stop doing it in order to prevent, so like smoking. That's one. So those who are smokers, are you smoking, Fred?
No.
Okay. So that's one thing. And hypertension is like the number one cause that we have for all the Filipinos. For all the Filipino patients that we have had in our hospital, they are all known hypertensive. And they're all known non-compliance to their treatment. And then genetics, we can't do more about that. It's in the genes. Whether we like it or not, it may. But they said, like, people are thinking about hereditary. It's in the genes. We maybe inherit it, but actually, it's not the disease that we inherited. It's the practices of our
everyday living activity.
Yes, the lifestyle
Yes.
of our parents, grandparents who had the aneurysm. It's not their disease that we acquired. It is their lifestyle and the way how they
Eating the food and no exercise.
everything.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what we inherited actually. Okay, that's what in our genes, that the laziness of doing things to make things right. Okay, so how's the diagnosis made? Actually, when a patient is brought to the hospital, they check about the patient's history. So one of it is the medical history, past history, the smoking history, and all those history, the present and the past, and where they engage of something that could trigger, okay, like drugs and all. Okay, so they will ask the history, physical examination. So patient may have the nuchal rigidity, the level of consciousness, deterioration, all this. And then a CT scan is used to find the location and the amount of the bleeding. So from the referring hospital itself, we can make out that the patient is having SAH. So they will call us based on the CT scan. based on the CT scan. So they will call us, and then the neurosurgeon goes there. He will ask for a CT, and he will inform our department that I'm bringing a patient with an SAH. But we don't know what is it. Is it aneurysmal or traumatic or whatever? So the moment the patient reach to us, a lumbar puncture can also be done but most of the time now we do the scans. We do the angios. But anyway, a lumbar puncture will help. It is used to to look for a red blood cells that is presence in the cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, that can be one. It means it's an indicative of bleeding if the RBCs is present in the CSF. And then a CT angio could also evaluate the blood vessels of the brain. It helps us to find the location of the aneurysm. But the main thing is when they do the cerebral angiography, this is the study of the vessels in the brain, and this is the one that will help us to locate, to see the location of the aneurysm.
The exact location.
The exact location of the aneurysm. They can also do MRI, but they don't delay. The moment that the patient angiogram is positive, cerebral angiogram is positive for an aneurysm, they will immediately go for coiling or surgical intervention, which is the clipping of aneurysm. Okay. So now let's see what is aneurysm is. So this is a picture of an aneurysm in the brain. So this is refers to the weakening of an artery wall that creates a bulge or a distension of the artery in the brain. So ideally, the vessels are just straight vessels. So when the wall of the vessel has weakened, with the pressure of the blood that goes from time to time, every time, like continuously, it creates a bulge. So the flow of the blood goes to the bulge and it will be distended. That is an aneurysm. Okay? The bulge that is created by the pressure of the blood that goes to the weakened wall of the artery is called the aneurysm. That results the aneurysm, which is very dangerous if it ruptures.
Yes. So it has something to do when you say aneurysm. This is like a balloon.
Yes, it's like a balloon. The very simple example is like a balloon. So when you keep on blowing, if the pressure is high, the blood pressure is high, keep on pumping vigorously to our vessel, and it's already weak, and the balloon keep on extending and distending, the pressure is really high inside, it will burst. That's a ruptured aneurysm, which is very dangerous.
Yes. So you're still watching, and Miss Sitna is giving us the definition actually of the cerebral aneurysm, which is many times this is a problem not only for us, not only for the Filipinos, but all over the world. This is one of the deadliest, if not properly managed, and something that it will end the life of somebody.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's very sad. It's very sad.
And
okay,
yeah.
that's the statistics in the USA. Like approximately 8 to 10. This is the epidemiology. Like 8 to 10 cases per 100,000 per year. The risk factor to rupture 1.6 higher risk in women. We are unlucky. We're really, really unlucky. Highest rate of rupture is in the 4th and 6th decades of our age, like 45 to 65 years old. Oh, I am within the range. We are within the range, so we have to be very careful.
Yeah.
Hypertensive, so alhamdulillah we are not, and we're not smoking. And it could be sometimes bacterial or fungal infection. Those are the risk factors that we can consider.
Yes. So we are all learning from this possible position. Any bacterial or fungal infection, it could cause this rupture in our brain.
Yeah.
And as you were saying, it could be
Yes.
treated
It can be treated if it is diagnosed early.
earlier.
Yeah, earlier. And we have, as I mentioned, a very good in the vascular surgeon in our department and even Sina Hospital, neurosurgical department. So how is cerebral aneurysm treated? We can do surgery and endovascular treatment. So surgery is clipping or wrapping of the aneurysm. I'm not very much favorable with the outcome of wrapping, but clipping has shown a very good improvement and prognosis in our patients. So they do a craniotomy. They open the skull, and right there you can see the clip over the neck of the aneurysm. So in order to prevent the aneurysm being fed by the blood that flows from the vessels. That's what a clipping of aneurysm is all about. The endovascular treatment or coiling, there is a metallic coil that is being introduced from the femoral artery to the cerebral artery. And these are the aneurysm that can be coiled is only the narrow neck aneurysm. Okay, so those will be done by the surgeon and the radio intensivist.
Oh, okay. So it's a specialist.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
That's their job. Our job as the nurses, we just receive them post-operatively and post-coiling. That's our main thing. So when the patient reaches to the ICU, our role sets in. So we prioritize. We have a management. We have protocols. So the first priority is the airway and ventilation and oxygenation of the patient. So patient, most of the time, if the patient is coiled, sometimes they come extubated according to their response. If the anesthesia has weaned off and they're able to support their ventilation, if the GCS is not that low. GCS is the Glasgow Coma Scale. There is a score of 15 out of 15.
Yes.
So if it is like less than 7, that is indicative of coma. If it is only 3, like for the 3 components, eye opening, verbal response, and motor response, like we got 1, 1, 1, that's only 3, that's deep coma. Okay? But if the patient is fully sedated, like post-clipping, we consider that we may not be able to assess, but we do window assessment. We stop the sedation for 30 minutes to an hour, and then do the assessment by us, with the neurosurgeon and the anesthetist on duty. So we do the assessment together every hour. So that's the good thing. And then we put them back on sedation. Then blood pressure control, which is very, very, very important. So airway and oxygenation, we talk about it. Then blood pressure control, which is very, very important because most of our patients are really known hypertensive. So what we do, we have inotropes, we play with it, and there is a target of a systolic BP of more than 140. It should not go beyond 160 and should not go less than 140. So we have a rate, a target rate of above 140 for a better brain perfusion.
Yes.
Okay, then so if it goes up, we have labetalol on standby. It has got a standing order, like okay, you can give a bolus of 5 mg in order to reduce the BP. And if it goes down, we have the noradrenaline, the levoped. Okay, infusion is there. And then we monitor and manage, as I have mentioned, we do the neuro assessment every hour. When you say neuro assessment, have to consider the level of consciousness, the pupils, because they said the eye is the window to the brain. So whatever is going on in the brain, you can make it out from looking at the pupil. There is an equal pupil, so ICP might be high. Okay, so these things. If you see a sluggish reaction or there's slow reaction or there's no reaction, you will be very scared, like, oh my God, what's going on with my patient? So we do the the level of consciousness, the pupils, the limb strength, cranial nerves, and the drift. We check the drift as well because we wanted to know if the patient is going into the complication called vasospasm, which I'm going to talk about later. Then osmotic therapy. So we also have to monitor and manage the ICP. So when the patient is having hydrocephalus or the collection of CSF in the ventricle or in the subarachnoid space, they will divert it by using the external ventricular drain. So we can also note that the CSF is blood stained, so it means that there is bleeding in the ventricle or in the subarachnoid space. Then we connect it to the monitor via transducer, and we can check the ICP of the patient. And also, in addition, like we check the MAP, we monitor the MAP, the MAP, the mean arterial pressure of the patient, and the ICP. If you subtract ICP from the MAP, what the answer is your CPP, which is the cerebral perfusion pressure. So you'll be able to know how the brain is being perfused, knowing the MAP and the ICP of the patient. So that's very important in neurosurgery.
So we are referring to the oxygenation of the brain.
Yes, perfusion and oxygenation of the brain. Okay. Then we also have an option of osmotic therapy in case of brain edema. We use mannitol and 3% saline to reduce the edema. And fever management, of course, we don't want patient to be febrile, so they are managed with every 6 hours paracetamol,
Yes.
Parvalgan. So fever management is there, and nutrition. Of course, we wanted patient to be well
Yes.
hydrated, like patient should not develop any constipation. We don't
Yes.
like any activities that could increase the ICP, like straining. So they will be on high fiber diet. They will be on stool softener, even antiemetic, because when they vomit,
It will increase the intracranial pressure.
Yes, and we always keep our patient head up above 30 degrees
Yes.
for the good venous return. That's something.
So before we proceed, I would just like to read the greetings from Cuerda Paya. Morning, mga DJs. And Princess Tom is watching. Ruby Ortiz, Cindy
Hello.
Lynn, Madeline Gipanga, Feli Marigmen Esteban, Jeneline Dicano, Alex Realiza, James Bitong, Blue Kiss Viloria, Inday Maria, Walter Kabatbat, of course to Madame Rose, Jovelyn Ramos is watching also. Morning, powerful morning, Travelog, what's out guys? And for Mitzi Sinense is also watching. RG, one of our power DJ. And Jovelyn Ramos, good morning to the guest of honor for this segment. Yes. And
Good morning to you.
good morning. Then we also have ex-null o Heidi Sodiblas also watching. Beatrice Carvajal, Madam Beatrice.
Hi,
yes.
ma'am. Hi, madam.
And to Liz, to Ma'am Raimilda Navalta, Jovelyn Ramos also saying, hi DJ, more power to you on Monday, AIM-101 Broadcast Edition. Kay Madam Ann Hermosura, yan. Ang ating isa sa mga asawa ng ating mga officers.
Oh, hi,
yan.
ma'am.
Yes.
I met her, I think, when I was invited to speak
Yes.
in our Philippine
Yes.
Embassy. Yeah.
And also to Nabil Al-Khatib and kay Christine Padilla, yan, nasa US na si...
Hi, Kurs. Miss Kurs. Hi, I miss you.
Yeah. To Henry Praboho and Gertrude Scudpayas, kay Ate Josefa, Jobinal Marilos Berten, Vivian Lumuntad, yan, partner ko yan dati sa aming volunteer when you were still student sa Pinas.
Okay.
Kay Aim Hana Katua, sabi niya, good morning DJ, and kay Cherry Competente, watching also. Randy Malyari Ronquillo, hello Aim me Kuwait, shout out po sa Aim Unity Qatar, sa August 2, 2019 team building at Albida Park, 3 p.m. onwards. Million thanks to AIM Middle East Kuwait Power. Yeah. And sabi niya, it's really helpful to watch this kind of program, especially about health. Thank you for the guests and giving us this information.
It's a pleasure. It's my pleasure.
And Minandro Gonzalez is also watching. Josie Cruzado, Sheila Landicho, Janet Galeno, and kay Princess, of course, welcome. Morning sa mga guests. Welcome sa AIM 101 broadcast. And pabati din sa Freedom International Team. Yan. So yun ang mga pagbati natin.
Hello. I can't remember your names, but thank you very much for watching, and thank you for the greetings as well. Hi to all of you. Thank you.
And Miss Sitna, there's an additional about the complications.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yes.
We cannot avoid the complications because sometimes things may fail. It's not really fail, but we have to expect that complications may arise along the way. So the first is rebleed, which is very, very bad. This is very high risk for the first in the first 24 hours, around 20 to 50%. If the patients rebleed, it's the fatality rate is even higher, up to 70%. Patient may die. Okay, so we really try to avoid those modalities that we have discussed previously should really be done carefully so that patient may not rebleed. But so far, alhamdulillah, of all the patients that we had, I haven't experienced seeing like post-clipping the secured aneurysms by clipping or coiled aneurysm. I haven't seen any of them rebleed, but we do experience a lot of cerebral vasospasm.
Wow.
Cerebral vasospasm. Okay. So what is cerebral vasospasm? Okay, this is actually the narrowing of the cerebral blood vessels. So actually, when it narrows, what will happen? The blood that flows, that carries rich oxygenated blood to supply the other part of the brain, will be deprived. Correct? Because it's narrow, it could not pass through. So the narrowing may be caused by the clots that has been dropped into when a bleeding occurs initially. Okay, so when the vessel is narrowed, the end result will be ischemia.
Yes.
Okay, so
Ischemia
the other part that is deprived from the supply of rich oxygenated blood will be ending up ischemic. Okay, that's an insult. That's a stroke. So we don't want that. So what we do is we assess the patient, as I told you, every day. And when the patient complains of headache and you see the patient's level of consciousness is a bit deteriorating, like from a GCS of 12 goes to 10, goes to 8, and the patient is drowsy, sleepy most of the time, and when we ask to do the drift, they drift. That is an indicative of weakness in either limbs or on both limbs. Okay, checking a drift is actually just asking the patient to do this, like both hands against the wall with their eyes closed, 20 to 30 seconds. So when the patient drips down or drips up, okay, in either limbs, that's an indicative of a weakness. That is also a sign of developing vasospasm. So it depends on the severity. Could be mild vasospasm, moderate, or severe. But in our hospital, in our center, we have the very potent vasodilator called milrinone, okay, or Primacor. So we have a protocol that initially from 8 to 10 milligram can be given, and then followed by an infusion of starting from 0.25 mics per kg per minute to 1.25 mics per kg per minute. So it depends upon the severity of the vasospasm. But fortunately, it's really working. It's really working. So like after the infusion, 3 days after the infusion, they will do the CT perfusion to see whether brain is perfusing well and the vasospasm, the vessel is trying to go back to the normal, diameter of the vessel, so that the blood could flow easily, just like brand new. Okay, so that's vasospasm, and we hate vasospasm. So when we see our patient post-operatively and they're doing well initially, after a neuro assessment, and suddenly, like the next day, they're drowsy, they complain of severe headache, so we suspect a vasospasm, and then they do cerebral perfusion, CT cerebral perfusion, and they will find out that we're really like, after the doctor, what's the result? What's the CT result? Then they will tell, there's a mild vasospasm, you can start with the milrinone, this order. So we just do carry out the order and monitor the patient, see the response, and the dose will be tapered based on the patient's response.
So when it goes down, they will taper.
Yes.
Tapering means keeping it down, the
Yeah.
concentration.
Until it will be totally stopped.
Yes.
Yeah, if the vasospasm is resolved, the stage of vasospasm is from the 4th day post-incident. The incident day, by the way, is the day when the patient had the worst headache of her life. That's the incident day. So from the 4th to the 14th day, this is the vasospasm stage. Patient can develop vasospasm in these days. So
After 4 days to 14 days.
to 14 days. So once they're on the 15th, they're out of vasospasm. And we're very happy. We're very happy that they're out of vasospasm. So that's a vasospasm right there. If you see the vessel, normally it's really wide, and then where the blood leaks and the clots made the vasospasm to constrict. Okay, so
Very sensitive topic.
yeah, it's really, like I said, I'm not a doctor. According to what is my understanding and what is based on the experience when we handle the patient, doctors explains to us what's going on, and we do see the patients like coming out from the coma.
Yes.
We do see patients awake going to coma. We do see all these scenarios in our hospital.
So it's not only the happiness that
no,
more
sometimes like it's really heartbreaking when you see your own kababayan.
Yes.
Yeah, as I told you, like from last year, from 2018 January to last month,
Yes.
2019 July, we had 24. It's a big number. 24 aneurysmal SAH patients, Filipino patients, and unfortunately 18 of them are female. We're unlucky. 18 of them are females. So yeah. Oh, I think I pulled my. Sorry. Okay. So, and the last one. Gradually it will resolve over 2 to 4 weeks. The vasospasm, so it's okay. Then the last one is hydrocephalus. So we already told what hydrocephalus is. So if there is a blockage in the circulation of the CSF, or where the CSF is being absorbed, if there is a blockage, so it will be collected. Basically, the CSF that should be whatever is produced should be reabsorbed. It should be equal. The production and absorption should be equal. So if there is something goes wrong along the way, some obstruction, some malfunction, or no reabsorption, that could lead to hydrocephalus, where the CSF will be collected. That's one. So if the blocking cannot be resolved, like the patient is on EVD, they will put an EVD to divert the CSF externally. And then gradually they will try to close the EVD. If the patient is tolerating, no complaints of headache, no deterioration, they will remove the EVD. Otherwise, we cannot. It's a closed drainage system. It is in the tip of the external ventricular drain is in the ventricle, so it's a very big source of infection.
Yes.
In case if we don't handle it well, so they don't leave it for a long time. It cannot be kept for a long time, so they will change it to a permanent VP shunt. Okay, ventriculoperitoneal shunt.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we have to. Okay, now we have to look forward for the recovery of the patient.
Yes. This is the positive side.
This is the positive side. We always wanted to look at it. Although it's a very long-term process, some people may see themselves really getting out of it so easy. I have a friend, I don't know if she wanted to be mentioned, but she was my living testimony in the embassy. This is Emma,
Yes.
the owner of Mediacom. She
Hi,
was-
Ma'am Emma.
Yeah, hi.
Magkakilala kami.
Mami Ganda. I call her Mami Ganda and Daddy Boss.
Yes.
Sir Sonia's Daddy Boss. So, she is my living testimony. She is a case of aneurysmal SAH and clipped aneurysm.
Yeah.
I think it happened December last year. Yeah, December last year. And imagine it's only July. It's been 6 months to 7 months.
7 months.
But she is like back to her. I told her, take it easy. It doesn't mean that it's gone. It's gone. It's over. It's clipped though. There can be somewhere else another small aneurysm that is unnoticeable. So
Yes.
just take it easy. You have to do all the things that you need to in order to prevent anything from recurring again.
Yes.
Okay, stress later on. So, most improvement, of course, within first few months and up to 1 year. Some changes can be ongoing for the first year. Many have a good recovery. Some will still have a long-term sequelae. Like patient may still complain of report of increased. I think I lost this.
Just keep it.
That's okay. Okay. Yeah. Report increased headache or on and off headache. And like 77% of them still experience headache. So upon discharge, they may be still on like PRN or some medication, like if necessary, they can take at any time. And 30% inability to return to the previous level of employment. They may have some disturbance, irritability, all other things. And complication worsens the outcomes, so we don't want complications.
Yes.
We talk about it and we hate it, so we don't want to have it.
Yes.
So what all we can do, we can help them by doing these simple things. Now this is not, we're no longer in the medical thing or what, we will go to the fitness and wellness. Just something that we can impart to you, and we wanted you to just enjoy doing it in order to be away from SAH and aneurysm. So we have to, number one, move more. Move more in the sense, moving
Exercise.
will improve everything, not just your circulation, but your level of stress, your well-being, it will improve.
Yes.
So you can, if you can use the stairs, use the stairs instead of escalator and elevator. But by the way, I came by elevator and escalator because I was running out of time. No, I was late. I was really late waiting for the taxi. And that's what we can do. We can go for a simple walk. You can even put an alarm 10 minutes before you wake up, like the usual time of waking up. So like 10 minutes for to do some stretches before you had your shower. That's something good to like you will be you will freshen up yourself before you even go for work. And then nourish yourself. Now there is a very big difference when you say well fed and well nourished. So when you say well fed, you can eat whatever you want, you can afford whatever you want to eat and satisfy yourself. But in well nourished, you should get a benefit of what you're eating.
Yes.
You should get a benefit, not a sickness. Okay? So benefit in the sense we go for a very good sources of food, like, the veggies and the fruits, fresh fruits and vegetable, which is really very abundant and available in Kuwait. And fatty, avoidance of anything that could cause your blood pressure to rise up. If you have a blood pressure, if you are hypertensive or you have hypertension, especially Filipinos, do not start or stop medication by yourself. It is a wrong thing to do. Consult your doctor, let them start the treatment for you. And if you think like sometimes they had 3 consecutive readings of normal blood pressure, to stop the maintenance. It's wrong.
It's wrong, really.
You can go to your doctor, just ask them to just regulate it, or probably she will ask you to stop it if you don't require it, but not by yourself.
Yes.
This is entirely wrong. And I know that we really love tuyo. We love soy
Bagoong.
sauce. We love bagoong. We love patis. We love every single salty food in the universe. I think the food is not at all tasty for Filipinos if it's not salty. I myself love tuyo. I love it. Like, I don't care. I'm not hypertensive, but it can cause my BP to raise up.
Yes.
I know that, but sometimes really we crave for it. Okay, but I think anything in moderation is really good, but if you can just stop eating it, it would be the best.
Yes.
It would be the best. Okay, that's one thing that I really wanted, the BP control. And if you are hypertensive, seek for assistance from the doctors, seek treatment, and follow. Be a compliant patient. Okay?
Whatever the doctor's order, you have
You
to
have to follow.
Yes.
They don't tell you something that could do bad to your health. They will tell you something that can do good to you. Okay, so you have to do that. So then, manage your stress. All of us, I cannot tell that I am free of stress. Even coming here, it really made my cortisol levels shoots up, and it's really bad. It can also raise your blood pressure. It can you can gain weight. The cortisol is produced. It's a hormone produced by our adrenal gland, which is sitting on top of our kidney. So it regulates a lot of things. So if it increases, it's bad. You will increase your BP. You have the bad moods, all these things. So better to just stay happy.
Free from
Find
stress.
find time to ventilate yourself to friends and families. That's one, because especially like us, we're working away, far away, million miles away from our families. So like when we hear something, our son is sick or somebody is, our stress level goes up to the sky. I can't imagine how worried we became whenever we heard something which is not really pleasant to hear from the family members. So as much as possible, if we can control our stress by just being happy mood all the time, be with people whom you can just be happy
Smile.
with, smile, okay? And being happy is not because it's not only having a lot of friends or having a lot of money or having a good job. No, being happy and positive every day can be achieved by simple smile and hello and good mood. That's it. Okay, so anyway, to make it short, just you manage your stress. I am not a stress guru, but I somehow manage my stress by smiling. And the bad thing about me, Fred, this is a secret. Whenever I'm in stress, like for 2-3 days, when I think about something really, really deep, I will lose weight, which other people really wanted to have it.
Yes.
But for me, it's natural, losing weight by just thinking, okay? And make a sleep a priority. So we have to, number one, unplug ourselves from
The cell phones.
the gadgets, the cell phones, the laptops, the iPads. So you have to unplug yourself. Don't let the others to unplug it. You do it yourself. Okay, that's one thing. You may tell that, oh, I'm not getting sleep. I'm not getting sleep, or I slept real late last night. Why? Because I was
The Facebook.
the Facebook and sorry. Can I have tissue? Sorry. Oh,
Okay.
sorry. I think I have it. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so
Yeah. You're still listening with the health education. First, you have to do exercise, you nourish yourself, manage your stress, and make sleep a priority.
and then we can add to stop smoking. I know it's a challenge. It takes a brave decision to do it, but you have to do it. After all, you're not getting any benefits out of smoking.
Yes.
If either your family as a passive smoker will have lung cancer or other respiratory diseases, or it could weaken your vessels that could lead to aneurysm, to increase your blood pressure. So better to just stop smoking. And if in case you are taking an alcohol, you can just regulate it. I don't know if I really have to tell you stop drinking alcohol, but somehow they said there is a benefits out of drinking alcohol, but in moderation. Maybe you can just have it like occasionally and take it easy. Okay?
Yes. And anything more you can add?
Maybe you need to add more.
Yeah, speaking about aneurysm.
Talk too much.
Yes. One of our doctors told if you are hypertensive and you're not taking your medicine, that's one of the results why aneurysm could result. So whatever we do, wherever we are, we have to encourage ourselves to have a safe mode in terms of eating healthy foods. Everywhere we go, we should always think about stress, out of stress environment. Amen. And this is the end of our guide for better health. Thank you, my friend, Miss Sitna,
You're
for
always
coming.
welcome. You're always
And
welcome.
you've always been an inspiration for everyone,
Thank
especially in
you.
our group, and everyone, really, especially your family, your children, your beautiful and handsome children.
Oh, thank you very much,
Yes.
Fred. Thank you very much. That's what a compliment I'm getting from Freddy. Well, he's really a good friend.
And you can greet them.
Oh, okay. Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank Fred, of course, for inviting me here in 101 broadcast. Thank you for the invitation. And I just wanted to greet we have a group in Ebencina. It's called the Amazing Filipino Nurses of Ebencina Hospital and Centers.
Amazing.
Amazing. We are truly amazing. Later on, they're really amazing. Headed by myself, Admin Sitna, Admin Rufina, and Admin Judy Pangan. So all the Albabtin Center girls, Rosalie, Norjana, Hazel, hello to all of you. Glory, Flory, I can't mention all of you. Ebencina girls, organ transplant, and Albahar girls and boys. I hope you're all watching. And to all the televiewers and the listeners of AIM 101, I hope you have learned something out of what I have talked. I have discussed today. As I told you, I'm just a nurse. I am not a doctor, so I can't go deeper than that. But it's actually based on what really I have experienced and dealt with in our hospital when it regards to SAH patients with aneurysm. So thank you very much and have a good day to all.
Thank you very much. And you've just watched AIM 101 broadcast, the new home of power, the power to achieve, the power to inform, and the power to motivate. See you next time, and take good care of your health, because this is 100% wealth. This is DJ Fred, your host, in this another edition of Guide for a Better Health. We will be back. Good morning once again and welcome to Travelogue, another program for halfway to bring travel just next to your fingertips. And let's begin our journey. Welcome to Korea. Last week we traveled to India, and of course today we're going to Korea with just using your fingertips. 안녕하세요. That's the way to greet in Korea. And before that, let's start and know the history, what Korea is. Korea is a region in the East Asia. Since 1948, it has been divided between the two distinct sovereign states. This is the North and South Korea, representing Pyongyang on the north and Seoul in the southern part of Korea. Korea consists of the Korean Peninsula, Jeju Island, and several minor islands near the peninsula. China on the northwest, Russia on the northeast, and neighbors of Japan to east via the Korean Strait and Sea of Japan on the East Sea. And during the first half of the first millennium, Korea was divided between the three competing states of Koryo, Baekje, and Silla. Together, this is known as the Three Kingdoms of Korea. And on the half of the second millennium, or first millennium, Silla defeated and conquered Baekje and Koryo, leading to the unified Silla period. Meanwhile, Balhae, from in the north, superending former Koryo, unified Silla eventually collapsed into three separate states due to civil war, which later it's known as the later Three Kingdoms. And Koryo was resurrected as Koryo. And at the end of the millennium, Korean Peninsula, during a single sovereign state, and around at that time, Balhae collapsed and the last crown prince fled to Koryo, which is spelled as Koru, and now it was changed to Korea as its modern name. And this is the place where the first metal was produced in 1234. This is Korea. However, multiple incursions of the Mongol Empire during the 13th century greatly weakened the nation, which eventually agreed to become a vassal state. And after a decade, eventually they agreed, after fighting the following resistance of the military under King Gongmin, which ended Mongol political influence in Koryo. Severe political strife followed, and in July 17, 1392, Yuson was established. Speaking of Yuson, for 200 years, it was marked by a relative peace, and during the time the Korean alphabet was created during the Sejong the Great on the 15th century, and they were influenced by the Confucianism. During the time, Korea was known by its hermit kingdom, and by the late 19th century, the country became the object of imperial design of the Empire of Japan. And after the First Sino-Japanese War, despite the Korean Empire effort to modernize, the country was annexed by Japan in 1910, and it was ruled until the end of World War II in August 1945. For your information also, in 1945, the northern part was taken by the Soviet Union, and the United States have taken the lower part or the southern part. And it leaves Korea into a partition along 38 parallel. These superpowers between the Soviet Union and United States, the communist-inspired government in the north receiving back from Soviet Union in opposition to the pro-Western government in the south, leading to a Korean division into two political entities north, officially known as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, and South Korea as the Republic of Korea. Mind you, in 1950, there was a tension between the Civil War that was in Korean War in 1950. For 3 years in 1953, it ended, but there's no formal peace treaty during the time. That makes them claimed to be the sole legitimate government of the kingdom, on those days still North and South Korea. And both countries were essentially under military rule after the World War. South eventually been liberalized, and since 1987 it has had a competitive electoral system. South Korean economy has prospered, and the country is now considered to be fully developed, with a similar capital economic standing to Western Europe, Japan, and the United States. On the other hand, North Korea has maintained the totalitarian, militarized rule with a personality constructed around Kim family. Economically, North Korea has remained heavily dependent on foreign aid. Following the end of the Soviet Union during the 1990s, this aid collapsed, and the country's economic situation has been quite marginal since that time. When you want to travel to Korea, it's very important for us to understand the political situation. For example, in that year, the Korean Peninsula, there's what we call as the DMZ, which is the demilitarized zone, separating the Democratic People's Republic of Korea and the Republic of Korea on South Korea. Despite of some peace agreement, the two Koreas are still technically at war, and relations remain tense despite the Inter-Korean Summit in April 2018, when North Korean leader Kim Jong-un met with the South Korea's President Moon Jae-in in the Joint Security Area. I hope you have seen that before in the news. And tourism in Korea, especially when you talk about North, this is a country where total obedience to the state is the norm. You hear it right? There is no dissension in North Korea, and travelers must abide by this if they intend to travel there. You have to follow strictly obedience to the state of Korea. And unlike anything you will have to experience, travel throughout the country is most done via guided tour with international and local guides. It is a good way to meet other travelers, and being in a guided tour can be useful, and should be any need for any help, you can go directly to North Korea. Prohibited items in North Korea are as follows: religious materials, pornographic material, political materials, and travel guides may be confiscated upon arrival but returned on departure. You can bring your laptop, your cell phones, your tablets, your cameras, but when you go in, you can purchase a local SIM to make and receive calls and surf the net. However, the rates are high and your calls may be monitored. Visa going to the north. Most visitors will arrive from China and must have a visa to enter. This must be obtained prior to arrival, at least a month, and tour groups specializing in North Korea travel will be able to help you sort through the complex and ever-changing regulations. Remember that. Many times, all the regulations will change from time to time. There are some nationalities that aren't permitted to enter North Korea, including the South Koreans and Malaysians. And in 2017, the US government announced that its citizens were banned from entering North Korea till August 31, 2019, 2 days or 1 month more, and this ban will be it's been extended till August 31, 2019. And going to Korea, of course, there's no place like North Korea, as they told, because of the third hereditary ruler. This communist state has defied all expectations and survived the collapse of the Soviet Union. Let's talk about the Juche idea, the tower. This tower honors the North Korean philosophy and was unveiled to mark President Kim Il-sung's 70th birthday in 1982. Just take note of this. Indeed, the tower is made up of 25,550 granite blocks, one of every day of King's life until his 70th birthday. The tower stands at 170 meters, and a trip to the top by lift is well worth, providing a great view of the capital on a clear day. Next to our place we have to visit is the International Friendship Exhibition. This exhibition hosts a massive display of gifts given to Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, and Kim Jong-un. These are the three generations, the father, the son, and the grandson, housed in a mountainside vault that is vaguely reminiscent of the Bond villain's hideout. On display is everything from Kim family transportation to glassware and wax figurines. Kim Il-sung gifts are so impressive, particularly one of it is the limousine from Mao Zedong, the great man of people. You also have Joseph Stalin, and exhibits arranged geographically, although you will be thankful that it could be shown in the highlights of 100,000 plus gifts over 120 rooms. There's also one small reptile related to alligator, which was given by a great leader of the Sandinistas, or a Nicaraguan socialist political party. And we also have a volcano in the North Korea. It's called Paekdusan. Paekdusan, or the Paekdu, is one of the most stunning sights on the Korean peninsula. It straddles the Chinese-Korean border in the very far northeastern tip. Apart from being the country's highest mountain, 2,744 meter or 9,000 feet, and amazing geological phenomenon, it's also a huge mythical importance to Koreans. One majestic mountain, it's called Chilbosan. Chilbosan, these are around one of the most beautiful places in the North Korea. And incredibly, it's a remote area, and the only way to get there is a charter flight from Pyongyang to Orang Airport, from where Chilbosan is a 3-hour drive down a rather Mediterranean-looking coastline of high, jagged cliffs, small fishing villages, and sandy beaches. The Grand Monument also is called Mansudae. Mansudae, or the Grand Monument or Monument in Pyongyang, every itinerary includes a homage to this vast bronze statue of the smiling great leader and dear leader. Great leader, focusing and talking about Kim Il-sung. And the first statue was unveiled in 1972 to celebrate Kim Il-sung's 60th birthday, while the second one was added in 2012. The original statue was initially covered in gold leaf, but this was removed at the objection of the Chinese, who were effectively funding the North Korean economy, and today's scrabbled bronze prevailed. If you are watching all these things, in Kaesong, the tomb of King Kongmin, the 31st king of Koryo, reigns from 1352 to 1374. This tomb is best preserved and most elaborate in the country. It is richly decorated with traditional granite, facing a sanctuary, including ship's status in honor of his Mongolian wife, whom the king was forced to marry by his Mongolian overlords. And this is one of the city's UNESCO World Heritage listing. See, it's really beautiful, talking about the tomb of King Kongmin. If you are after the architecture in Pyongyang, Pyongyang Metro is one of the best places to go. Visiting the impressive Pyongyang Metro is definitely a highlight of the capital. The network, which is made up of 2 lines, has a simultaneous function as a nuclear bunker in the event of a long-anticipated American invasion. Stations are deep below ground, and you can see even blast doors that will close if Pyongyang ever comes under nuclear bombardment. In Pyongyang, there is a big square. It's called Kim Il-sung Square. It is the central square in where North Korean massive military parades normally takes place. The plaza is ringed by the austere-looking buildings. Most impressive are the Grand People's Study House, Korean National Art Gallery, and the Korean Central History Museum. This three great views from the riverbanks across the Taedong is the tower of the Juche idea. Talking about the Victorious Fatherland Liberation War Museum, also a museum in Pyongyang. This is one or perhaps the most interesting museum in Pyongyang. This mouthful of institution opened its current home in 2013 to mark the 60th anniversary of the end of the Korean War. Outside, you'll see war-damaged tanks, weapons, aircrafts used by both sides in the conflict, while inside there are dozens of exhibits and 360-degree diorama of the Battle of Daejeon. In the foyer, look out for the statue of young Kim Il-sung, where he looks exactly like his grandson. If you like seeing all the arcs, Triumphal Arch could guide you to tell proudly the Triumphal Arch is 6 meters higher than its cousins in Paris, making it the largest of its kind in the world. Yes, this is the highest arc only in North Korea. The arc marks the site of where Kim Il-sung first addressed the liberated Koreans after the end of the Japanese occupation in 1945. And that's where you can go to North Korea. And let's start a peek of the Southern Peninsula, South Korea. These pictures are brought to you by Toropia.com. And before we proceed, as I promised, I'm going to sing to you a Korean song. Allow me to sing a song for you. I hope you would enjoy, and you could listen to the heart of the Koreans. This song I've learned when I was still in college. I hope you would like it.
없어요 사랑으로는 가슴은 진실 하나에 울지요 그대 작은 가슴에 심어줄 사랑이여 상처를 주지 마 영원히 아득한 사랑에 미뤄요.
I really don't understand before when I was singing this, but it means you love somebody and till the end of your life you're giving your love to that person you really like.
사랑해 당신을 정말로 사랑해 당신은 내 기도 돌아간 뒤에 얼마나 유렸는지 모른다
That's the end of my song. That's a Korean song. As I promised to you, I'm gonna sing a song, and of course it's not easy to sing that song because it's been long years I was not singing that song. And simply when you say 안녕하세요, this could be, it means good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So simply you say 안녕하세요, you will answer 안녕하십니까. Okay? And when you say thank you, you say 감사합니다. Yes. Thank you very much means 감사합니다. And when you say I'm happy, you say 행복해, 행복해. And you say I love you, 당신을 사랑해요. Okay? So yeah, and when you say goodbye, you say 안녕. Of course, that is simple greetings only from the Korean language. Both North and South, they have a distinct Korean way of talking, and that's this Korean language. And by the way, I've learned also how to write a Korean, Korean. I will just let you know how it is being written. And yes. Okay, so this is a Korean alphabet. I'm just going to write. This is A. This is An. Maybe you can just focus. This is This is 안녕하세요. Okay, it means good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. So if you want to write your name, you can write everything you want. And this is the things that I've learned from my martial arts activity before, that is Tong Ilmudo and Won Wado. This is the way to write. And thank you very much. I hope you have enjoyed the simple thing about writing, and also at the same time making it a point that we become a Korean for a while. I hope you have enjoyed that. And let's go to South Korea. South Korea is one of the homes of the scenic national parks and plenty of places where you can slow down and enjoy the atmosphere. From islands to coast to the fearsome border zone in the middle of the Korean peninsula, there is a countless things to do, and you can explore to the next trip to South Korea. My favorite place there in South Korea is Suwon. Suwon is the city of it's the capital of the Gyeonggi province, and it's just about 20 kilometers outside of Seoul. It is easily accessible from Seoul by car or train, but is often skipped over the travelers. And if you visit, you'll be able to see the World Cup Stadium, affectionately called the Big Bird. And it hosted the quarterfinals of the 2002 FIFA World Cup. And if you're not a soccer fan, head instead of the historic 18th century Hwaseong Fortress, where you can tour the architecture and even try your hand at archery on the premises. Chuncheon is surrounded by scenic lakes and towering mountains in Chuncheon, the capital city of Gangwon province. It is located, or this is the popular Korean soap opera called Winter Sonata. A lot of visitors in the city come to see some of the most common filming locations. So if you are making an ambition to be part of anything historical, this is the place where you can travel. Other travelers come for food, and because this place is known for the foodist paradise, after touring major attractions like Soyang Dam, Statue Park, or the Chongpyongsa Temple, and this street features the dish of dak galbi, a grilled chicken meal with spicy vegetables and rice. Dozens of restaurants on the street offer the same iconic dish, each then offering slight variations of the recipe. You have watched maybe before Train from Busan. Here, Busan is the second largest city in the entire country. This is called Busan. It is also a major port, and it is known for boasting beautiful beaches as well as hot springs and opportunities for outdoor recreation. It is known for the Santorini of Busan. You also have the chance to visit several temples, and the most popular of which is the Bimyosa Temple. While on the city boast of all the shopping and museum you might expect from an urban area of its size, some of the most popular attractions include the Taejongdae Park, the beautiful Nakdong River, estuary migratory bird sanctuary. And if you want the Joseon dynasty, at the peak of this dynasty, Jeonju, what is called as a spiritual capital. Today, This is filled with temples and museums and one of the best places to visit in South Korea. And if you want to embrace the local culture and get to know its history, make sure you way to the Junjo Hammock Village, where you can see traditional homes from the earliest century. Make the traditional hanji paper or sip the locally made soju. And one of the national park, it's called the Shuraksan. If you want to go hiking, the best known mountain range in South Korea is just get some epic photos, or make sure you visit the Shuraksan National Park. Within the park, you'll find a forest, and start to visit the National Park Visitor Center, where you can pick up free maps in English and Korean. We also have the Andong, the Jeju Island, and you also have the DMZ, or the demilitarized zone, where this is one of the best places you can ever go and imagine yourself to be in this, like a movie places. Gyeongju is the ancient capital of what once the Silla Kingdom. This makes the city more of 2,000 years old, and incredibly, this destination boasts a number of temples and cultural festivals. Start your trip from the Buddhist religion masterpiece and the art that dates back to the 8th century. Then hike up to the temple of the Shukguram Grotto for even more Buddhist culture and artifacts. Don't miss the covered market, a collection of vendors selling everything from Silla souvenirs to freshly made Korean delicacies. The last city in the south is Seoul, and this is far the largest city in South Korea and major destination in East Asia. If you are spending any time in the country, there's a good chance you'll be visiting Seoul at some point. There is no end to the attractions in the city, but many visitors start with some of the many palaces located in Seoul. Population for North Korea is 25.6 million compared with South 52 million, almost halfway for the South and North Korea. And our next feature is something about our favorite dishes, and this is brought to you by Colidus. No chemical solvents, no sugar, no starch, no artificial colors, and also no preservatives. It is mercury-free and greatly reduces bad cholesterol and helps decrease blood pressure. So what you're waiting, take Colidus. It lowers the risk of coronary heart diseases or any aneurysm and its complication, and it supports the healthy eye and brain function. This is brought to you by Colidus. What's your favorite food in Korea? Number one on my list is kimchi. Kimchi, or the fermented vegetables, one of the oldest and probably the most essential dishes in Korean cuisine. Kimchi is a spicy and sour dish made of the fermented vegetable, and it's prepared with the various kinds of ingredients such as cabbage. And with its unique flavor, as well as high nutritional value, fiber content, and low-calorie content. However, for Koreans, it is most popular due to its significant cultural value. Without kimchi, dinner is considered incomplete. We have also the mixed rice, which is called as the bibimbap. Bibimbap is essentially a bowl of mixed ingredients including, but not limited to, rice, seasoned and sauteed vegetables, mushrooms, beef, soy sauce, chili pepper paste, and a fried egg. The ingredients found in the bibimbap vary from one region to another, and the most famous version of the dish are found in Junjo, Dongyung, and Jinju. One of my favorite also is bulgogi. This is a marinated beef barbecue. It is a juicy, savory dish of grilled marinated beef. This is one of the most popular Korean meat dishes throughout the world. Believe it or not, it was ranked as the 23rd most delicious food in the world according to CNN Travel's Readers' Poll in 2011. It is often grilled with garlic and sliced onions to add flavor to the meat. The meat is usually wrapped in lettuce and also traditionally eaten with a thick red spicy paste. And if you like to eat a stir-fried noodles, this is called japchae. Often served as a side dish during lunch or dinner, it is a traditional Korean noodle dish made up of a stir-fried potato or a sweet potato, thinly threaded vegetables, beef, and a hint of soy sauce and sugar. Depending on the chef, additional ingredients like mushrooms are added to the mix. Japchae is known for its sweet and flavorful taste and is a soft yet slightly chewy texture. If you are looking for a spicy rice cake, it's also, we call it as the chukboki or dukbuki. Some pronounce dukbuki or chokboki. It's a common spicy food made of a cylindrical rice cakes, a triangular fish cake, vegetable, sweet red chili sauce, and it is often sold by the street vendors. This is called as the dukbuki or chukbuki. It's a combination of spicy and sweet flavors. And of course, if you want soup, we also have the solyong tan or the ox bone soup, a traditional hot Korean soup made from ox bones or ox meat and briskets. It is a local dish of Seoul, often seasoned with salt, ground black pepper, chopped green onions, or the minced garlic according to the consumer's taste. The broth is a milky white, cloudy color and is often eaten with rice. It is known for its soft yet chewy texture and flavorful broth and can be found in the most Korean restaurants in Seoul. Second or third to the last, we have sonbudu jjigae soft tofu stew. This is served in a small or a large stone bowl, commonly a spicy Korean stew, generally made of tofu, vegetable, mushroom, seafood, beef, or the gochujang or chili paste. Depending on the region, some ingredients are removed and substituted or added to the mix. Though different variations exist, traditionally a raw egg is placed on top of the stew and mixed with the soup before serving to add additional flavor to the dish. This is my third favorite. It's called the hemorrhage or the seafood vegetable pancake. If you're fond of eating the pancake, this is something different because it's a combination of a pancake with a butter, egg butter, green onions, wheat flour, rice flour. Hemorrhage incorporates the seafood to the common pancake. And this includes oyster, shrimp, squid, and clams. It is generally eaten as a main dish and is known for its soft and chewy texture as well as its mixture of seafood flavor. If you want pumpkin porridge, we also have what we call as hobakjuk. Hobakjuk is a sweet and grainy dish, a traditional Korean porridge made from steamed pumpkins and glutinous rice that has been soaked in water. Through its appearance, it's very simple and an extraordinary sweet and flavorful due to pumpkins. It is a popular meal during breakfast hours and is often a perfect meal choice for people who are sick and unable to consume heavy meals, and it's served both hot and cold, but is best when it is hot. Last part or the last favorite of mine is a ginseng chicken soup. It's called samgyetang, a common dish particularly during the summer. It is a traditional soup made of chicken, garlic, rice, scallion, Korean jujube or Korean ginseng, and spices. It is known to have a high nutritional value because of the ginseng. Not only that, it's known for the healthy content, but it's also a popular simply for its creamy and meaty flavor. This picture is brought to you by www.culturetrip.com. And let's go to the place where I really love, where everyone whom I love is still there. It is called Baguio City. Baguio City, back in the Philippines, it is a Philippine Luzon island found in the mountain town of the universities and resort. It is called the City of Pines, particularly popular in summer due to unusually cooler weather. It is a center, it's Burnham Park with gardens and a lake. Nearby Baguio Cathedral, completed in 1936, has a rose-hued exterior, and the main thoroughfare is Session Road, lined with shops, restaurants, entertainment options. Baguio City originally was founded in 1909, which intended for 20 families, but now it's more than 500 families stays in Baguio City. Quezon Hill is one of the place where you can see it's really beautiful. Same is true with Burnham Park, which was envisioned by American architect Daniel Hudson Burnham as part of the larger plan of the city of Baguio in 1905. Burnham worked with William Parsons in coming up the plans for the city of Baguio as well as the capital city of Manila. And talking about Wright Park is a quiet promenade with a long reflecting pool lined with pine tree, which is located in the eastern part of the city and fronting the main gate of the mansion. It is one of the many scenic parks in Baguio City. Its main features are the shallow, elongated, rectangular body of water known as the Pool of Pines, and the park circle, which is one of the end of the park. Postcard-type photographs are usually taken at both ends of the Wright Park. Mansion House is with the inauguration of the Philippine Commonwealth, the mansion along with Malacañang Palace was turned over to the Philippine President. The High Commissioner of the Philippines, the successor to the Government General, is the highest American official in the Philippines and representative of the United States government. They built the American Residence, and it was completed in 1940, and it was given to the President of the Philippines. Count John Hay, as set from the public domain for military purposes in 1903, designated in the honor of Colonel John Hay. It's one of the later Secretary of the State. And this airbase, more commonly known as Count John Hay, is a major hill station located near Baguio City, used for the rest and recreation for personnel and dependents of the United States or armed forces in the Philippines, as well as the Department of Defense employees and their dependents. The United States 48th Infantry Unit under Captain Robert Rodd established Hill Station in the current site of Camp John Hay in 1900 during the Philippine-American War. The site is referred to the locals, the Ibaloys, as the Cafagway, and is owned by Ibaloy leader Mateo Carino. 213 hectares of the land was then designated as Camp John Hay, a military reservation for American soldiers. In October 1903, then U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt signed a presidential order. American military personnel were given a place to refuge from the relative hottest temperature of the lowland. And we also have this botanical garden. It is a popular botanical garden featuring a variety of plants and colorful flowers along with native huts. Originally, it was named as Imelda Park, and it was changed by Cory Aquino, the botanical garden, way back in 1986. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a wonderful trip to North and South Korea and down to the Philippines, the city of pines. And you have just came to different borders, and after all, we will still continue to travel without your passport or without your visa. I hope you have enjoyed, and before we end our program, we would like to read again the greetings coming from Demosthenes Abad is watching, and Jovelyn Ramos always saying great news brought to us, and also very talented Power, and thank you very much. Thank you, AIM from Satin, for inviting me. I had a great time with DJ Fred, and Ihelsim Citro is watching, Mickey Mouse, Leo de la Peña, and also the sister of Satin or Sitna, Darling, saying hello. And Rod Junior Galam also is watching. And we also have Resil Maria, Placida Aguirre, and Jesse Anil, and all of you who are watching right now. Thank you very much for always watching us, and we would like to give thanks for all your support. This is AIM 101 Broadcast, the new home of power, the power to achieve, the power to inform, and the power to motivate. And I would like to say thank you to the following: to my parents, to my uncles and aunties, and around the world, my family, my wife and my children, neighbors, classmates, and all lovers and friends around the world. And to AIM 101 family, to Sir Khalid and Madame Rose, and all the handsome and beautiful Power DJs, our engineers, and all of us who are here in the office. to Pinoy Nurses Association, who will always be there, especially for the next board examination this August, the Philippine Professional Organization, and also the Cordillera Organization in the state of Kuwait. Have a blessed day. See you again for the next time around. And this is your DJ friend. Have a good day, everyone.
Follow your dreams till the end. You are a champion, number one. This is a season without end. We can show the whole world who we are. Like the sun keeps on shining, I will shine out a bright and light. Like the rainbow in many colors, my life is looking so beautiful. I know my story could welcome to those who believe, and we gotta win. I am global, everything is possible.